Mike Mohel, followed by Margaret Hammond.
Is this oral communication?
Yes, it is. It's that time of night.
Okay.
Or evening. It's still evening, I guess.
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
My name is Mike Mohill. Part 2, Legacy of Councilman Dave Weaver. Last week before this council, Councilman Dave Weaver stated he was not alone when he voted 18 years ago to change the pension benefits for safety personnel, fire and police, from 75% of their last year's salary to 90% of their last year's salary for life. In addition, safety personnel would no longer have to work to the age of 55, but to the age of 50. A 15% pay raise for life, and could not retire 5 years earlier. Additionally, these benefits were also retroactive for previously retired city employees. Mr. Weaver, the Public Employees Union favorite candidate, stated 2 or 3 other council members would also have had to approve the increases in salary and pension benefits. Mr. Weaver is correct. However, as the pension liabilities have grown to become a tsunami, Councilman Weaver kept approving pay raises and bonuses. Unfunded pension liabilities have grown from less than $200 million in 1997, when Weaver just got elected, to $1.4 billion today. As the tsunami pension crisis continued to crescendo, Mr. Weaver has done little or nothing to change our unsustainable and unfunded pension obligations. Since we do not have the money in order to leave the city employees' corrupt pension system CalPERS, it will cost the taxpayers about $2.4 billion in bond debt. City Manager Ochoa, in his sleight of hand magic show in my discussion of the unrestricted city reserves, money a family would use in case of an emergency. I stated when Mr. Weaver became a councilman, we had more than $500 million in unrestricted reserves, and today it's less than $40 million. Mr. Ochoa, I was talking in dollars and cents, and you chose, again as always, to mislead and confuse the council and the public in talking percentages. The undeveloped hills in Chevy Chase Canyon were purchased about 10 years ago for about $40 million. Mr. Ochoa, please, can you please itemize where the rest of the $500 million of the unrestricted reserve money went? How about the $500 million was transferred, how much of that, was transferred to pay the corrupt CalPERS union employees' salaries and pensions for which Mr. Weaver voted? Mr. Weaver's slogan is "Leave it to Weaver," and look what we have today. City Manager Ochoa gave us another Oscar-winning performance last week in defending Councilman Weaver when he said, quote, "We do not have $1.4 billion in unfunded pension liabilities. We have $1.4 billion liability and $1 billion in assets, and therefore we have only $400 million in unfunded liabilities." Wow. Excuse me, Mr. Ochoa. To what finance or accounting school did you go? No council member challenged your fuzzy math. As always, you pulled the wool over council's eyes and the public. City Manager Ochoa, since when do assets cover liabilities? When I took accounting classes, cash covered liabilities and not assets. Has the accounting board changed its rules or terminology? As the tsunami pension crisis looms, fees and taxes have increased throughout the city. Expected city services are dramatically reduced. Mr. Ochoa uses fuzzy math to pay the $1.4 billion liability. He must be prepared to sell our assets like City Hall, GWP, police and fire stations, parking structures, libraries, museums, and then lease them back to the taxpayers are assets. Mr. Ochoa, let's be honest with the public. We are financially upside down, and you are deliberately misleading the council and the public as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilhelm.